we will deal with the essay Sharing the World by Amartya Sen. Amartya Sen is a very famous economist, and then in this chapter he is telling about the globe of globalization, how the benefits are being distributed, etc. So Amartya Sen says that the goal of globalization is not just concerned only with the commodity relations, and the relations of mind cannot be neglected. The focus should be that the benefits of globalization are fairly distributed. Global justice means whether the benefits are equally distributed or not. Critics say that poor becomes more poor. The critics of globalization says that poor becomes more poor. And the less but one thing is there, even the less prosperous countries also make use of globalization. This shows the non-meeting of minds, how people think. It is in the minds that people see the negatives of globalization. Now let us read about the distribution of benefits. In General Assembly of United States, the Secretary General made a report on globalization and interdependence, and then he dealt more with the transparency of the assessments regarding the benefits. Now, poverty is said as a big issue, and in globalization gives we have the great advantage of contemporary technology, trade and exchange. So modern technologies can be used for making medicines like for AIDS and all, and that opens to the market of foreign countries, of richer countries, for variety of commodities. We can get commodities of various from different countries. Now let us see how fair the share is done. The argument is that the poor are getting more poorer, and the response is that it is the responsibility of the domestic economic and social policies. If the domestic economic and social policies are not good, then nothing can be, the globalization cannot help with anything. The global economic relation can flourish only through appropriate domestic policies, through the expansion of basic education, health care, land reform and facilities for credit, etc. Those people who are very enthusiastic of globalization, they say that the poor are getting less poor, and that even the poor benefits. Also the fact is that even if the poor are getting little rich, that does not mean that they are open to the vast potentials of globalization. The inequalities cannot be just termed as large, it is actually larger. Now let us see the women's position in a family. A woman's position in the family, it doesn't mean that if the woman is not in a family, her position will be good. All that matters is the sharing of the benefits, if it is equal. The real issue is that if they can have if the entire nations can have a fair deal, even with the unequal distribution of economic, social and political opportunities. This is the real issue. Anti-globalization people also focus on this fairer deal. Now, what all things are different? The resource availability is different in different countries, different ownership, social opportunities are different, rules of operations are different, and depending on all this, the market economy generate different prices, terms of trade, income distribution, and more generally diverse overall outcomes. And all this demands alternations of the economic and social conditions that helps to determine what market solution would emerge. Market economy cannot work alone. Global relations are important, and global relations makes it different even in a country. Even in global economy also it can be different. Global relations also, the market economy can be different, and even in a country itself it can be different. So the public policies in education, epidemiology, land reform, microcredit facilities, appropriate legal protections, all these things can utilize this class of interdependence to achieve greater prosperity, more equity and fuller security. Global capitalism says that the market relation deals only with global capitalism deals with the market relation only than anything else. The distribution of benefits include the trade agreements, medical initiatives, educational exchanges, ecological and environmental restraints, fair treatment of accumulated debts, and technological dissemination. So the development of medicines for AIDS and all, and the more incentives can be given for medical research, like for vaccines. The problem is that the world power also involves great in this domestic trade. Now local wars becomes the consequences, and this leads to the trade in weapons among G8 countries. And we can see that US exports half of the arms, and of that two-thirds are for developing countries. Developed countries, two-thirds are for developed countries. Global Okay, so globalization gives the importance of shared responsibility. We should have a shared responsibility. Every nation should work together to develop the nations. That is what we see in this essay. Thank you.